Okay, okay. 1 2 1 2. Yeah, welcome to our Patreon behind the scenes hang. Um, so this month we're gonna be chatting with Sandra St, amazing singer, songwriter, human being. And so yeah, let's jump straight into it. I think she's in the spot. So
Hey,
hey, the Mac Diva herself.
how
How
you
are you
doing,
doing?
CL? I'm good. I'm
I'm good.
good.
I appreciate you being up late at night for us.
Yeah, what else I'm gonna do? I'm in the Netherlands. If I want to be in the life, I gotta stay up late these days. What's up?
Word.
For
How have you
real.
been? How's the year of Rona been for you?
Yeah, it's like actually okay. So I've been able to get a lot of things done that I otherwise probably wouldn't have been able to get done
Uh huh.
because just distractions and that sort of thing. So the lack of having so many things to do has given me time to do some positive things. So I'll give it that. But it is also like the whole, I'm sure we all have gone through this sort of upheaval and this sort of transition period of figuring out like
Mm.
what will be the new normal? What is the next? Because it ain't gonna go back to what it used to be. It's just not. It's this is a next thing.
For
This is what
real.
this is. So it's
For
like
real.
going from cassettes to CDs. This is like we about to
Yeah.
transition, and like the guy is like it's almost like it's symbolic that the dude that invented cassette tapes died. You know what
He
I
did
mean?
he did just die, right, the other day.
Just died. Okay, so it's like
Wow.
you know what I'm saying. So like that era, boom, boom, it passes,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the whole era of how we are used to being musicians and artists and working musicians is
Mm-hmm.
is, is gonna have to be different.
Totally. 100%. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like it's to me it's kind of like an Octavia Butler post-apocalyptic world, you
Thank
know?
you.
But
Man, that's
but
good. That's good.
but the way how we, in science fiction, how the apocalypse is always so severe, right? And
Right.
it's nuclear, or it's drought, or it's aliens or some shit. But
Something like that. Right.
but
Right.
after
Right.
that, everything's different.
Right.
And so maybe this is it, but it's just not as severe, you know?
That's how I see it. That's how I see it, and I think because the let's face it, the old model wasn't perfect, was it?
It was,
Okay,
well, for music, it was broken. It's been broken.
boom. So for artists,
Mm-hmm.
it been a dead horse, right?
Yeah.
So we've been trying to we've been basically surviving on the fringes of this
Mm-hmm.
this business model that was set up not to work for us, right?
Totally.
So now we've got this. Okay, so we've been here before, but this is this moment's opportunity for the next pioneers, the next frontier.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to do with that? How are we going to make this work for us this time? Can we make it work for us this time? Because each time we've
Absolutely.
been at these moments of transition, it's always worked out for more for like the business end of things
Mm-hmm.
and not necessarily for the creators side of things.
No, totally. I mean, it's not specifically at all what I thought. Let's talk about this today. But now we're talking about it for a
Right,
second.
right.
It's the music industry was created in order to exploit the artist. That was
Clear.
what it was made for. It wasn't
Yeah.
made to spread music and like
No,
love and light and uplift the human spirit. That was a byproduct, right?
no, exactly. We did that.
So the fact that it's always been like that from the dawn of music industry till now,
Yeah.
and you're right. There's an opportunity to reconfigure, work out new systems, work in different ways, and I was just
Right.
thinking, like, as you're mentioning that, how porn is the same. Porn was made to exploit
Yeah.
exploit women primarily, but exploiting people, right?
Right.
Um, and then you look at OnlyFans now, and you got these women who are making, six figures.
Exactly. They've transitioned the shit to work for them.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. So
no, I've always, the reality, if anybody has not looked at, ever, been aware of how record contracts work, I mean, we are being pimped out, right? We don't own ourselves. We basically, all of the money that we create, we hand it over to this machine, and the machine decides how much we get back from it. So we are all whores to this machine. And so now is a moment where, like the last one, of course, was early 2000s, when streaming really was becoming the thing.
Yeah.
So the labels were caught off guard because it takes them a while. It's a big clunky machine. So it takes them a while to figure out, but they got the means and they got the motivation. So they got the lawyers, they got everything. So they figured out how to make that medium again a whole contract for artists. So they work deals out because of how I know, as an artist, as how my record contracts were, I don't own nothing. I don't own my stuff. So they made deals with Spotify, and then they decide, well, let's give the artists, points. 0.001% of a stream. And they didn't. Nobody called me and said, Sandra, if we play your song, are you cool with us giving you point? Nobody called me. Okay, so we just do it that we just do what we're told.
I mean, even before that, with the way Apple would be iTunes, a song is 99 cents, right?
Right.
And it's like, is that the value of a song?
That's the value of all the work you put into that song.
It's like if someone takes the Mona Lisa and tells you this is worth $10.
Amazing.
Like, is that really worth $10?
Think about that.
Yeah. Exciting times for change, I think. And there's a lot of the technology. I feel like the way the pandemic happened and forced us into a new relationship with technology makes more things possible in that more people are more open to using the technology in more direct ways. Whether that's as consumers or creators, or any end of the spectrum. So I'm personally pretty excited about whatever comes next.
I am too. Whereas before, when the last, like I said, the big change before was into streaming. Yeah. And I'm quite old, so I've seen a couple of these transitions. And that last one, I was like, I wasn't as positive or as optimistic about the outcome as I am about this particular one.
Interesting, isn't it?
You know what I mean? Because I think this one affected the consumers as well. Where when you're understanding that 99 cents that I paid, well, not even that anymore, but if you buy something on iTunes, that 99 cents, you really are more aware, you're more cognizant, you're spending your pennies, more cognitively than you were before.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I think that works in our favor.
100%. That's exciting times. I was thinking about this, like, there's a whole rabbit hole around the music industry that we could talk about, and we could be here all day.
I know, right?
Which I actually let's have that chat. Like, not now, not today, but I would love to have that chat with you, because it's
no doubt.
There aren't many people who have been through. Not to. I'm in no way,
dude. I'm old. It's fine.
Talking about your age, but
it's fine.
you've done different decades in this industry, and through association with artists who were around before you as well.
Right.
Massive artists.
So I know.
And like I feel like for me in the last 25 years I've seen quite a change, but you've seen more than that, and there aren't many. I don't think there are many of your peers generationally who could have this conversation and be excited about the new and have some perspective on the changes.
Yeah, I do find as well that yeah, what you just said, basically,
Yeah, so we need to talk about that more for sure.
We really
for
should
sure,
because
for sure.
I want to have these. I posted actually after Mary Wilson died from Supreme.
Mm-hmm.
I did a post about about this, sort of in this area, and there was this sort of free thought post, but it came around to me saying what I would really like to have is this conversation with folks, with people, about how are we going to make sure that our people, that artists that we love, are taken care of. How we what as consumers, what are you willing to contribute to that, because they are obviously the means to the end. So if consumers change their behavior to a big degree, actually, then it would sort of push our industry to work more with us.
100%. I mean, that's a really, which is part of what we're doing here right now. Having this chat, for my Patreon community, and it's just so awesome to be able to build with people in a direct and meaningful way. And for me, I feel like I'm offering as much value as I can to the community, and in exchange, they're supporting what I do. And the level of support is incredible when you consider that for $15 a month, you can have every song ever made in your pocket in your phone.
That's amazing.
Streaming, right? Which is I think for the consumer who really loves the art and wants to have a relationship with it, understands that cannot be equitable. It's just not possible. So yeah, I mean, Patreon as a model's been around for a while, but we mentioned just briefly OnlyFans before, and that's the same thing. There's no difference. It's just the content is a little more skewed in different ways, but yeah. I think
it's brilliant, because it builds on the whole idea of how back in the day Beethoven needed patrons, right?
For real.
You know what I mean? To survive, to pay his meager rent.
Yeah.
So patrons of the arts kept art alive. They were everything. So this platform for that, I thought, when I first heard about it, I thought, that's brilliant. Now I've been too lazy to get into it right. So you always ahead of the curve on shit, and I watch you. I see what I'm like. I should.
Well, we can catch you up. Catch you up.
Catch your sister up, my MDCL.
But hey, so I think for a lot of the crew are going to watch this later on as well. So whether they're tuning live or on the replay, it's all good. But I obviously don't want to keep you up too late. You're in Amsterdam, right? No, you're in
Arnhem, which is in the Netherlands.
Arnhem, that's right, Arnhem. So yeah, let's jump in. If we could talk about how we came across each other in the beginning, and then the things we made. Play a few, choose a few tunes to share with people. Have a little listen. But my awareness around you came from, I was living in London, and I went to see Shaka Khan play in Hammersmith. And I don't know if you would know what year that was, but I would guess 2004, 3, 4, I don't know, around then.
Okay.
And you were on backing vocals, and Karen Burnot was also on backing vocals. And Shaka was, she smashed her show, as she does. And there was a point in the show when Shaka was trading 4s or trading 8s with the backing vocalist, with you and Karen.
That was fun. And I think Audrey Wheeler as well, right? Was it 3 of us?
I feel like there were 2 of you, but
2 that time. Okay. And then it was probably me and
but it was definitely Karen. So if it was Karen and someone else, then maybe there were 3 of you, and I was just not fully clocked in. But I remember Shaka trading with you guys, and Karen was on the mic and just absolutely destroyed it. And I was kind of thinking, I feel bad for the next girl because Karen just like that was game over, slam dunk, shut down, goodbye. And then you grab them. You're up next, and just kind of almost started where she finished and went into a whole other atmosphere.
Yeah, you kind of have to. You know what I'm saying? Those kind of people, don't you have to do that? I mean, it's like, okay, well, right? I can't go there.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
I mean, it's so beautiful when, you know, in the creative arts when that happens, right? Or even in sports, it's like you're playing, you know, you're on the court with great players. You're going to elevate your game, right?
That's what it is. That's the beauty of actually. And I don't look at it as a competition. No. I don't at all. I just look at it as, oh, wow, okay. It's like, it's fun. You know, it's like.
Exactly. Okay, playtime.
It's playtime. Okay. All right. Oh, shit. All right, let me do this. Because, and I remember, you know, those gigs, we didn't do the same. It wasn't the same thing every night. You know what I mean? It just wasn't. For sure. But and we all had our places because, you know, I'm usually a bottom girl, you know. That sounds really funny, but I mean, vocally, I usually like, I hold that bottom down because
sure.
I got that heavy tone. Mm-hmm. But you know, I've been on gigs where, you know, it was just me and Shaka, and I had to sing the high part above her too. But you know, I prefer to do the bottom because, you know, you get a nice round anyway.
Yeah.
But, So we all had our parts. So I knew I could always mess around, you know, with my low register, and you know, just do some and flip some stuff in there. So it's always fun to you know, nobody felt no way. You know what I mean?
That's great. But
you know, it was always fun.
I remember being so blown away, and you know, this is MySpace days, so I found you on MySpace and reached out. And I mean, and that was kind of that until a little while later, I think.
Yeah, so I think maybe what was the next? Was it Brooklyn the next thing, or was
exactly? Yeah. Okay. So that was a party for Afrokinetic, who actually I happened to be doing a live production set for them tomorrow for their live stream. But yeah, Afrokinetic, great crew in Brooklyn. They invited me out to play an outdoor party. It was an after party for Summer Stage, and it must have been 2009.
Okay.
And I didn't know that you actually were basically, you know, Netherlands based, but I think at that time you were in New York.
Yeah, awesome.
And on some whim, I think I reached out to you, just like I was thinking, oh yeah, I'm doing this gig. I think Sandra's in New York, and maybe you should come down and jam a tune. So we met at my gig, right?
That's right. That's the first meeting. That is the first meeting.
Mm-hmm.
I see it was like in a little yard or something.
Yeah.
Like a little courtyard or something.
Yeah, like an outdoor thing. Yeah.
It was hip.
And so I imagine like, oh yeah, I mean, you know, maybe you should come down, just jump up and vibe a little 5 minute. And I think you were on pretty much the whole gig, right? The
whole set. It was so much fun. You know, it's like, God, this is what I'm saying. I posted, I don't know if you saw my last post today, but I'm like, what is it with these like unrealistically talented marks in my world? But it's like, the shit that you can do, and you know, how you can like just how you create live. I had actually never seen anybody do that. I don't know if that's the whole world. I don't know about.
That's high praise considering the people you've been around. So thank you.
People ad lib, but that's ad libbing is different than what you do, because you create like whole songs out of like whole cloth. You like, you know, so you know, I remember I started like, you know, I don't know what I started with, but maybe I started singing Stevie Wonder song. But I know at one point I said, fuck it, I'm going to sing Habanera from Carmen.
I remember that. I remember that.
You started playing some shit about it and had a hook and shit. I was like, oh. So we could just like, and we just kept doing different things and finding entire different hooks and songs.
Yeah.
I was like, that was, I mean, Mark, I'm not gassy. That was like one of the most fun times I've had on stage.
Oh,
It was scary because, again, not used to that.
right. You really don't know what's going to happen.
You clueless. So, and I'm kind of anal. I like to be rehearsed and shit. But this was not that at all. Because I remember asking you when you called me, I remember asking you, what do you want me to sing?
Right.
And you were like, I don't know. I'm like, oh shit. So this is gonna be something like get up there and scream for 5 minutes and and try to get as much applause as you can for screaming. Okay. Yeah, I hate that. I hate those. Okay.
No, of course. And obviously that's not what I want. Like someone to get up and do their gymnastics. It's like, no,
Right.
let's jump up and make music and
You know what I mean?
you know.
It was like brilliant. It was just a great experience.
So I remember at the end of that set, one thing I remember anyway is distinctly I was saying to you, I guess we should make some music then. And
right.
and so thus it began. And so that was 2009 and here we are, an EP and an album later, which I actually feel like, I don't know about how you feel about the connection of this music with your fans and community, but I know for me, there's a lot of people who are not aware of it and could still do with getting hip to it, and which is cool with this. We can share some of the sounds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the same thing with me because people know Family Stan and they know Mac Diva and Gemini.
Yeah, right.
So it's like if it's not like a major label thing, they're not tuned into it enough. But Oya's Daughter, I think for me is the most cohesive full project in my collection.
Wow.
I think that's like just from top to bottom, because of the way it was created. So if we one shot for me.
If we if we rewind before that, so I think the first track we did was on the At My Spheres EP, which would have been At My Spheres, right?
Yeah, that was the first one. Yes. That was the first one.
So let's listen to a bit of that.
Yes.
I wanna kind of highlight today a lot of as many of the songs as we can. So we'll probably do fade outs halfway, and people can find them on Spotify, YouTube, and
everywhere. All you aggregators.
So At My Sphere. So this is the first joint I heard you on of mine, and vice versa.
Yeah. I gotta send my dog downstairs. Binky, go, go down, go.
You can't see stars if you look below, like the sun can't see its own shadow.
Oh.
Hey. I'd never made a track like this before either. This is different for me. Like this stylistically, it's a bit.
Take it from me, nothing's worth your sanity. If you take it from me, I'll get it back eventually. It's no surprise, you're gonna see what you wanna see. Starring in your movie, are you being real, really? This is my world, my life, my moment, I said it. You can come in for a moment, easy, let's let it happen. My bohemian rage. Whatever happens here stays. That stuff you've been told. Let that inner child grow. Let this inner child show.
That's a jam.
Yeah,
That's a jam. So
you know the one off that EP, the one that I did live all the time was FMAOcity.
Really?
I did that live.
Well, also, I mean, with Marcus killing that shit, right?
Come on, dude. Seriously?
Oh my goodness! All right, let's play a little bit of this joint too, because this is interesting because both like when I did the instrumental, the track for At My Spheres, which and the interesting thing was almost nothing we've done together, and I guess there's probably 15 or so songs, given the album and the EP.
Yeah, more than that, actually.
Given all of it, there's very little of it. Did I have you in mind? I was just making music,
Right.
and
he had a lot of tracks, man.
and so at my spheres, that joint, I was kind of thinking of like in kind of I was living in London at the time, but imagining in like an alternative to US R&B. But it doesn't sound like that. But that's what I was imagining.
I know, right? See, that's what was cool about it, because it was funky as hell, but it had that twist. It had that little edge on top that we talked about. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And then FMAOcity, that track, it was like, well, how can we get this shit a bit rocky, but not kind of, which for me, like but yeah, it was interesting because these are all tracks where I was leaning into slightly different areas.
Yeah.
And you just made sense of this shit. Like,
yo, my band loves playing that song. They love it. They love playing it. Oh, my drummer, we love that shit.
I bet the drummers do.
Watch me now as I watch myself lose my mind and see what's left. Fingerprints all over me. Feels like thoughts thinking too deep. Bless my soul with cursed tongue. Swallowed whole, I come undone. There I go, where I come from. Eternity is forever younger than ever may your say.
Wicked good.
Audiences only. That turn of a phrase I know you. Some old presidents of fuckery. In this loop, in circle square, dying days watch from my head. Second hand, there comes second hand. Come on, grab a band and do the dance. Breezing through, crawling between, picking for rules. Taste what I mean. Sickly sedum, poison treatum. Well, you choose is now complete. That every male I succeed. Well, my audience is only.
That's my jet, yo.
I remember when I made that. I did have an artist in mind with that track.
Yeah.
And they didn't get it. Like, they heard it and they just didn't understand it, right? And it's funny because this has happened with me, from a production point of view, quite a few times when, you make something with an artist in mind and they just don't imagine it. And then someone else hears it, they're like, oh shit, I hear it. And then the irony also is funny when sometimes the original artist you had in mind, when they hear the finished track and they're like, yo, can you make me something like that? I'm like, man, that was that was. So I appreciate your ear and your imagination, right? You know, being open.
That's where that connection comes in. Our imagination.
Imagination.
Imagination is
go on. Sorry.
It's open. Is what I'm saying.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then there was one more track on the EP, which now we have to play some of it since we played both of the others. And Cosmos was cool for me, from my point of view, because, it's all music, but I was excited hearing you in a kind of a housey context. Yeah. Even though fundamentally it's just a tempo change, right, and a rhythmic feeling, but it was just cool to hear you in that context. And then I remember that you were like, yeah, it just needs an intro.
Yes.
And so the intro was at your behest, which I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah, I'll be trying to get you to play piano. I want to see that maestro shit as much as possible. I've asked you a couple to put an intro on it. Just you on the piano. A couple of joints I asked you.
Yeah, so I think, I can't even remember this intro, but I remember, on the album it happened a few times too.
Yeah,
but,
I remember, I know. Stuff Mama used to say I did that to you.
Let's get a bit of Cosmos.
Rasan and Layla love this shit. This is the day
The
jam.
what?
Rasan Patterson and Layla Hathaway. This is the day
Oh.
jam.
Oh, I love them. Love them.
This is their favorite song of mine.
Woo.
The heavens and earth, all the worlds that I feel, the divine love is real. The heavens, the earth, all the worlds that I feel, the divine tender in 3 words, love is real. I wake up each day to the magic that is you, only you. I'm taking each dream as it happens to come true here with you.
Little vibe there.
Yeah.
Little vibe there.
What? Hey.
No, that was such a pleasure to hear you when you sent that over too. It was just like, oh my goodness, what this is a tune right here.
Right? I'm like, what is this dude thinking with these chords? I'm like, okay, all right, here we go.
And then for me, I'm like, oh cool. Here's a vocalist who's hearing the chords too. Like,
Oh my god! And chords like that, it blew me away. I was like, okay.
Yep.
So find a melody. Okay, that was
Heavy,
so much,
heavy.
So much fun, man.
And so that
Right.
EP drops independently, right?
Yep.
Put that
I
out
just
yourself.
found, like the Leave Digital and all the.
Mhm,
That
mhm.
2000 was that 2009? I don't remember.
Well, we met in 2009, so
So this was like no, that was like maybe 11.
yeah, I feel like it was probably around then.
Yeah.
And there's some dope remixes off that. Seiji
Yeah.
and
So,
Sold.
Nicolay from Foreign Exchange.
Did he do one on there? Yeah, and Funk and Even.
Funkin' Even.
Yeah, so those are all on Spotify and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And-
Nicolay no, I'm thinking
no,
Nicolay.
Nicolay did one for the record for the album.
Oh, right.
So wait, are you on Bandcamp?
Yeah.
So is this EP?
Can I put them up there? Can I put them on there?
This EP totally. We'll talk about it later. Let's make that has to happen. Has to happen.
Yeah,
Has to happen.
okay. Yeah, please.
100%. 100,000%.
Okay.
And so then at that point we've done this EP, and I'm not sure. I don't know if you recall where the album conversation came about, or but
I
it
know
did.
we had been talking about we need to do a full album, and you had sent me like a lot of tracks, and I was like, doing what I usually do. So I'm talking about this past year has been a blessing because of the lack of distractions, and at that time it was like so many distractions. So it was like I think it took me 2 years, and you kept one, yo. You right? What's up with the and so eventually what I did, I think I told you, is I rented a cabin in the woods for a month.
Beautiful.
And I took my whole setup, the mic and my Logic and computer desktop and equal everything. I took everything with me, and I sat in that cabin for 1 month to finish that album. That was
Beautiful.
it. I was like, I got to be away from the kids, the dog,
Mm-hmm.
the job. I just got to be here and in this music because I wanted to finish it.
Mm.
And it just wasn't happening. It was coming out in spits and starts, and I wanted it to be cohesive. And that's why I think, like I mentioned earlier, this album is the most cohesive, from top to bottom for me. It just, because I think I start out talking about, intro, but then I go into I'm grateful, and I go through this whole, it's a story. And, if you listen to that album, listen to, all of my shit, but certainly this album is like, you really can, as who I am as a person, because I put it in the lyrics, I put it in the delivery, I put it in there. But I say some things on the album, I look back on them, I shouldn't have said that. It's like, I was like, don't nobody really pay attention to that part.
I remember I remember sending you the demos, and you were saying like you were bugging out like, how is it that you sent me like a whole album that sounds like it's for me?
Right. Exactly.
And that tripped me out. That was cool. I was like, okay, we're on track. Something special is going to happen here.
Yeah. And that's why I knew I had to take that and go treat it as it sounded like an album that I just needed to put me in. I just needed to like put me on top of that album. It was like, okay. And this is the other thing. I've never done that before. I've never like taken myself out of a space, out of my comfort zone or whatever, or my living space to go write. I've never done it since, never did it before.
Isn't it great?
It's amazing. It's actually, I actually wish I could do that all the time.
Yeah.
But I knew at that moment, I knew that album needed to be said. Okay. And I knew that was the moment that I had to take it. And if I wasn't going to take it, then, I might have missed that moment.
I love that. So what track can we play a little of to introduce the album in our conversation?
Oh my God. I love this album so much. Damn, Mark.
I mean, we're gonna play bits of a few, but just kick us off with one.
Okay, all right. So I tell you what. Since we've done a couple of bangers, let's take it to the other end and let's do a little bit of I was gonna say either Eternal or Presence. Eternal or Presence, just to get a little bit of that, because I actually love. We got some great remixes, but what was this DJ? Who did that Eternal remix?
Eternal didn't Spinner do its Eternal?
Yeah, Spinner did a great Eternal remix.
Yeah,
he did a great mix. But that song and Presence, as down tempo cuts for me. They rank among. They're like there with Come Over, or like it's like. They just didn't. They weren't on the soundtrack of a major Hollywood movie. That's all.
Right. Well, let's play a bit of Presence then, because for me that was. I remember the demo came about when someone was like saying like, "Do you make like slow stuff?" And I'm thinking, I make everything. What do you mean slow stuff? And I kind of had a bit of attitude about it. So when they left, I was like, oh, I'm gonna make some music.
I feel you.
So let's jump into a bit of that, because I mean, I'm really proud of the whole record, but this would be one of the most golden moments on the record for me.
Nugget.
So yeah, let's. Where is it? Presence. Oh my Lord.
Come back home. You're right here beside me, and I'm alone, flipping through the memories of days ago. A faded photograph in my bed where words unsaid. Who are we? Can this be? Is this it? If you care about my heart, if you care about me at all, I need you to face reality. Your face in front of me right now. If you're still the man I love, if he's still available, I praise you like Sunday deliverance. What I need now every day is I need your presence. I feel this transcendence, but I need your presence. I need you to get this. How I need your presence. I need your presence. Come back home. Yeah, you're right here beside me. I'm alone, flipping through the memories of days gone, not long ago. In my arms, don't you know who we are? What was felt, what you said when you used to say stuff to me like, thank you, so sorry. Bless you, my soul goddess. I praise you forever. So many ways I won't ever leave you to doubt my intention. Remove the quest from the question. Give my world balance. You complete my life sentence. Let me breathe your essence. From now on, know this, you got my deep presence.
Yeah.
Cause I miss you, and I miss us. This thing we are now ain't worthy of us. This B-movie scene, this in between, this torch song. I can't help feeling that I sat and waited too long to say that I won't wait forever. All my patience done. I've done the best that I can do. Now the rest is up to you.
Oh, Lord, you murder that shit.
Oh, I love that song.
Oh my goodness.
That song. Yo, my back. So one of my friends who actually sings background with me and when I perform in New York, he's on this. Man, they be cussing me out in rehearsals like. Really? Because it's so much fun. It's like, it's fun. The backgrounds, I make them fun too. So.
Yeah. I mean, and for me, there's things that I came up hearing in American soul music. Am I saying American? Soul music is American. In soul music, that like vocally, stylistically and vocally, and the feeling from the backing vocals specifically, things that I've always loved that you just delivered all over this album in spades, but especially on that track.
That track, yeah.
It's like you're saying, it's like it can stand up against anything. Like I feel like
that's what I'm saying. I feel like again, had that song been in the right place,
yeah,
and it could still.
Oh yeah, of course it can still. Yes, yeah, yeah. I mean, for me, that's like you put that next to like an Angie song, a Bilal joint, a D joint, a Jill joint. It's like it's part of the family,
Yeah. I mean, your feel on it was just pretty magical. The fact that it's like, who did that? I'm like, this dude from New Zealand.
What?
I was like, wait, because your feel is like your touch or your keyboard touch, but also how you do the drums and the bass. I'm not even trying to play. It just the way you perform songs, the way you write songs, where your headspace is that little place that you come from is so real and it's so gut bucket. At the same time, it's like so full of soul. But I think what really makes it for me is it comes from this gut bucket, soulful, like, you know, but it's got this glaze of real intelligentsia on top of it.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Oh,
she sees me.
Oh, Joe, that right there. See, that gets to my Mercurial, my Gemini shit. That's like, okay, see, this dude's smart. Oh, okay, all right. Now we working with the real shit now. Okay, so
well, you made a classic right there. You made a classic.
No, we did that, Mark. To see y'all.
I'm telling you. Speaking of you know, like Marcus Machado on guitar on that joint, the brother Marcus, one of the greatest guitar players walking the planet Earth, like period. And yeah, it was great to connect with him through you as well. I know you two had at the time were working all the time, and I remember coming to the studio in the Netherlands on a day off or something, and we Marcus cut the guitars for the record that day, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he came in. He just came in. I think he killed. Did he do like a few songs?
Oh yeah, he did most of the songs. He's on most of the record. Yeah.
Right. I know he sent you some things as well later.
Yeah.
He did a lot of stuff in the studio that day.
Yeah, that was ill. Oh, super talent. I mean, all that crew around you.
Cats too. Who else?
Sorry?
You brought in some cats as well that I did not know. I'm trying to think.
Yeah. Dan Waldman, guitar player. He's on a joint. You connected me in LA with Freddie Washington.
Freddie,
he's on bass on a couple of joints.
Yay!
And
Freddie.
And
did we get Abe Fogle on a couple of joints? The drummer.
I don't. Is he? I'd have to look at the credits again because I know there's some additional live drums on some of the tracks, but I'm not sure. I mean, isn't it terrible when we can't remember the important details?
Yeah, it is.
Well, hey, the whole project, you know, there's a lot of gratitude around it, in that just, you know, seeing a whole thing come to fruition, where it's not like a track or a remix, it's an entire body of work. And
right.
And for me, I've only produced 3 full-length albums for artists. Yeah, so this is one of 3. And they're all very different from each other. And this is one which I'm just so happy I got to make with you.
Yeah.
So in the spirit of gratitude, right? Love this jam.
Which one is it? Oh, funky.
Oh, I'm grateful. Yeah. I'm grateful for the struggle, learning, knowledge, the burning, for the struggle, gaining power. With every hour, I'll be grateful for the struggle, lessons, the blessings, for the struggle, gaining, learning, the peace of my mind, living every day within the skin, squeezing through the pores that trap me, knocking at my door once again, that old gravity pulling me back. It was one of them days when nothing went my way, and I'm wondering what the hell. Walking through the door, dropped my ear on the the floor, then I'm headed upstairs to recuperate. Kicking up my styles off the pretty fake smile and myself drowned in a moment. I know the struggle keeps me strong, so I'm gonna keep holding on. Over the struggle, learning, knowledge, the burning, grateful. The struggle, gaining power, whenever I'm grateful. For the struggle, lessons, the blessings, I'm grateful. For the struggle, daily grinding, the sticks in my mind.
That's Abe on that joint, right?
Yep, that's Abe. I'm like, that's gotta be Abe. Yo,
Yeah, listening to it, I was thinking that too. I was like, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. We had Ty Macklin mixing.
Yes.
Oh man, he had some joints. And Richard Spavin playing drums.
Yep, Richard's on there.
Shit.
The whole crew.
Kanye's cousin. Remember Kanye's cousin is on Kanye's cousin. Tony is on damn, what's the name of the song? The song with part 2. With part 1. Oh, what the fuck? Right. What the fuck have we learned?
He's on part 2?
He's on part 2. Yes.
That's right.
Them ad-libs, if you know his voice, you hear them ad-libs in there. That's Tony.
Let's jump in a little bit of what the fuck part 2.
Cause it ain't gonna hurt you now. What came before y'all? What came so sick of feathers?
Right?
It might take you far. Twinkle, 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 little star, shine bright.
See, you through you, I get to get into my P-funk bag, my soul bag, my jazz bag, the house, everything.
That was that gig said, oh, okay. I could do that album with this dude. You didn't miss a beat everywhere I went. You were right there. And I was like, oh shit. Okay. Okay. Oh, he one of them. Okay.
It's interesting listening to even just parts of tracks right now. Just it's people got to hear this shit,
For real though. So it's like,
and it's crazy when the record. Say again, sorry.
Soundtrack, something I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but that, like you're saying, it's these these things are timeless, and that they can be
exactly.
Made use of in different ways at any point in time, and that it exists is the important thing.
Cool. That's facts. Yeah. I think
know,
one of my favorite joints on here is because I have 3 mothers basically, but this is the stuff Mama used to say. And I talk about where I came from, and then I talk about my kids as well. And that was one of the ones that I really wanted you to set up with some classic Clive-Lowe chord chant. Say, you gotta give me some piano shit at the beginning of this joint. You gotta do it. And what you came up, you're like, all right, I'm gonna get to it. It was like, I don't think you really wanted to at first, but you were like, I'll do it. I was like, see, that set it up.
I don't recall what I played, but we'll play it and have a listen.
Play that, yo.
Freddie Washington on bass on this one as well.
Yes.
Yes. I loved it because it's kind of my approach to the instrumental side of it was like a hip hop, spiritual jazz, Afro. Like it was a a very broad but specific mashup of things. But yeah, the intro is there because you told me to.
Mine and all. How you go from like mine and all? Taylor on the clock.
Back in the South, for them street lights come on. There's $1 for the studs in my cool super longs. Turn them lights out, go to bed. Don't make me say it again. Stop jumping on them mattresses. It's like we can't have nice things. A little north of nice. Turkey wings and black-eyed peas was served in China bowls. Help me clean this kitchen up if Wilson's coming along. In East Side, in East Side, in East Side, hey, say pretty Jane. In East Side, in East Side, in East Side. Your dress down and your pants up. Now don't make me jump down your throat and come out your ass like poison oak.
My mama really used to say. Most of the lines in that song is shit my mama really used to say. I wish she had been alive to hear that song. She would have loved it.
She was listening. She was listening. She was right there. I love that you have the family all in there, and that's a vibe.
I just love where it came from because it was like roots to me.
Mm-hmm,
you know, I mean, just content wise, obviously, but musically speaking, I mean, if we're talking about any of the stuff all the things that we connect on musically, that song damn near encompasses, all of it.
All of it. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We're talking that roots. Like I said, how you gonna go from Rachmaninoff to Fela Anikulapo-Kuti? That's damn what you did, So we went like, you took that vibe and you broke into that Afro beat, and I could that because it was roots based. It took me all the way back to my roots. So I wrote it from that space, home.
I love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
I think that's probably my favorite. But I have a lot of favorites.
Of course. You know what's calling to me right now is one of the shorter tracks that.
Oh my God! I wanted you to make longer. You said nope. We're gonna give them just this little piece. I know which one. I know what you're about to play.
Okay, so maybe it is the track I'm about to play, but I love the idea of you're leaving people very hungry or frustrated and in that sense, and this joint it just has a it's encoded with a spirit and a vibe for me that it really touches me. And I'll play it and see what happens.
Let's see if I'm right.
Wait, is that what you thought?
Yeah.
It was what you thought?
Awakenings.
No. But we can get to that. But this is I Prefer.
Oh, snap. Okay. Make a wish. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
I wanna shine in hues of crystal blue persuasion. Paint the world in harmonic love and vibration. I prefer a bit of candor in the baking. A side of cryptic with our candid conversating. I prefer children be sheltered from the evidence. I prefer each child grow up knowing their relevance. And while we're at it, let's abolish human cages for wages. Outrageous how they plague us. I prefer, oh yeah, yeah, what I prefer. Oh yeah,
Ooh, such a little vibe there.
Wow. Damn. Well, what we're talking about too, man.
Right?
Yeah.
Hiding there at track 11. And just hitting me.
Right.
But hey, since you mentioned that other one, was it Awakenings?
Yeah.
Okay, go on. Let's hear a bit of Awakenings.
That's the shortest track on the album.
It is?
Yeah. I think it's like a minute and change.
Really?
It's really short.
coffee or tea. Outside in the breeze, sharing some space, daring escape. Life can wait. High tide, threatening skies, windy gusts, washing us inside and out. Let's retake our sparks, fly, wide awakenings, and I'm psyched. Tropical mood, afternoon date, deja vu starting to ache. Let's get it in before too late. Let's get it in before it's too late. High tide, threatening skies, windy gusts, washing us inside. Let's retake our sparks, fly, wide awakenings.
I had forgotten about that.
What is it like? It's under 2 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm here for that.
I know. Look, you were right, because I was like, come on, let's make it long. You're like, no. Let's get the pace. I'm like, okay, that works. It works in the whole flavor of that album. How it's perfect. So I ain't mad.
We got there. I know earlier on when we were talking about what track to start to introduce the album vibe with, and we had a little penny candy show and Manami going back and forth,
Yeah.
trying to tell us what to play here. But Eternal was in the mix, so we got to give that a spin for sure.
Yeah, we gotta get something.
It's really cool revisiting this record. And
It's a beautiful record.
I hope that people are about to go and put it on high rotate.
Come on now.
You know what you do when you go away on vacation? You put the album on Spotify on repeat and just turn the volume down and leave it going the whole time you're away, and it just keeps going. You know.
That's all you gotta do. I tell people that all the time. They go, "Really? I want somebody guess that works."
All right, Eternal.
A line has been crossed, there's no turning back now. I'm heading across, the tide is at my back now. Your gravity is so strong, I'm holding back, but I can't hold on for too long to the reasoning of this physical world. The physical can't contain us, no. And time too insignificant to restrain us. We live in inner space, existing every place. Until we can embrace, we wait for me. In the eternal, will you be there for me? For the eternal. And I know it's only love, yeah, we're all up in it. There's no way to deny, there's no way to spin it. We've spun far past the wire, gone beyond and higher. Stoke the flames and jump right in the fire. Don't you know our karma is converging? Don't you see the past and future merging?
Ready.
I know you see what I see, your eyes deep inside me. All I ask is if you wait for me. In the eternal, will you be there for me? Let's feel the grass between our toes, yeah. Stone reality is just too cold for us. Can't explain what we feel through a glass darkly still. We remain until wait for me. Will you be there for me? Our two notes symphony. When you look at me, will you wait for me? Will you be there for me? I do love symphony. When you look at me, I see eternal.
Hey,
Ready, right? That's ready.
Freddie on the bass, absolutely. Freddie Washington.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
You're ready?
who played trumpet?
Yeah, that I was just looking at this dude's name. I was just looking at his name.
I forgot. Is it terrible? Was it Rob?
Todd Simon.
Oh, Todd Simon's on this.
Yeah.
My man.
Arun.
Yeah.
Kingdom on percussion.
I forgot about that. Who's on, sorry? Say that again.
What's this guy's name on percussion? Arun.
Oh, Arun. Wow.
Name?
It's so interesting how sometimes music can be created over a span of time, right? And
Yes. Right.
so Arun is a percussionist in Perth. I was on tour in Australia, had a day off, went in studio, and the promoter's like, "Oh, my boy Arun should join you." And I jammed out for the day, and he recorded with me.
Wow.
And so that would have been where that track's inception happened.
Weird. Whoa.
so out. And then Todd would have been someone I would have met fairly recently at that point, once I moved to LA.
Right.
But yes, and you're over there in the Netherlands and just spanning continents, right?
Isn't that weird? That's why I said interplanetary collaborations.
Interplanetary collaborations.
Actually, I was thinking about that show we did in New York at the Lincoln Center?
Oh yeah.
Okay, we did that hit. Okay, so Damien, Penny Candy.
That's Damien. He was there. Yes.
Damien.
What up, Damien? All right.
So Damien, if you look at his Twitter feed,
Uh-huh.
he just I think a week ago, maybe less. He did like just morning vibing out singing, and he sang FMLocity. People went crazy. He sounded awesome. So I'd be mad at him because sometimes he sound better than me. I'm like, fuck you, Damien. You should check that Twitter because he said FMLocity, and he was like, it was just people were like, what? They went up on it.
Damien, drop your Twitter at in the live chat, and I got to check that. Can't wait. That show, with that gig at the Lincoln Center was ostensibly like most of the repertoire. That was the only sight unseen for the band rehearsal of the material, which I recorded the following days for the Church album.
Wow!
And so we barely even sound check for that gig. We did a little sound check, but I remember I had these charts which were loose sketches, and we hadn't the band was hearing the tunes for the first time, playing them on the gig, kind of thing.
Awesome.
And it was cool to have you came in and brought a whole different vibe to it. Just kind of made it all whole.
Yeah,
that was beautiful.
Again, had another blast doing what we do.
And then that gig we did in Rotterdam or Amsterdam.
Rotterdam, we did one in Rotterdam too.
Park something. Festival?
Park. Oh, that was Den Haag. That was the Hague, right? Park
yeah.
Pop. I'm thinking about another one we did at a club in Rotterdam, but we also did Park Pop. We opened up for Snoop. Remember?
Yes.
And then at the last minute, the city thought that Snoop would cause a riot because he had said something wrong or incorrect about a football team.
Okay.
He had said something about Amsterdam's football team being better than Rotterdam, and so they thought literally that would cause a riot at his concert. So they banned Snoop from coming because
Is that what happened?
That's what happened, and then we ended up opening it up for the reggae dude. Yeah, reggae cat. Who's Jesus? Why can't I remember none? But another reggae cat who I really also love, so I can't remember his name right now.
I remember that gig. I remember the gig being really fun. And I remember for me, just because I'm so used to kind of my own way of working, it was interesting being, because it was your gig with your band doing your shit. And I remember being like, okay, I gotta fit in here and come correct.
So, dude, you kidding me? People like shit. Mark the Clive-Lowe. He's gonna play the keys. I'm like, yeah, he's Mark Clive-Lowe. Like, come on, because that's not what you do. You know what I mean? So, it was really brilliant to have you on that shot.
Didn't we do a gin and juice flip?
Yep, we sure did, because I was mad that Snoop didn't come. So I'm like, I will go. We did gin and juice and something else. It just sort of made it a thing.
That shit was super fun.
Right?
Wow. Well, I mean, we gotta. I know it's late where you are, but we gotta make some more music.
We do, and we have to conversate about business, because you could teach me some stuff that I'm not.
And conversate about the business too. And like we said at the start of the chat, that would be a cool conversation to have, actually, and maybe do something like this, do a public live stream, and just hash it out a bit.
I want to talk about where we're going and what we could do, what the future could be if we are super conscious and of our moves.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So, and in the meantime, people can jump into the EP and the album on all the streaming platforms, and they'll soon be able to buy the EP on Bandcamp because I know you're going to put that up.
I thought I couldn't, but I didn't. Okay.
Yeah, we can let's chat about that ASAP and get that up in the interwebs.
For sure.
So good to talk with you today. It's been way too long. It took a pandemic.
Isn't that ridiculous? Come on, man. Whatever it takes, though. You know what I mean?
Whatever it takes. No, 100%. So, is there any? I mean, we didn't play the whole record at all, but is there anything from the album that comes to mind to share?
My goodness. Wow. Okay. Let me I'm gonna look at the list real quick because I said everything off the cuff, but let's see. Album information. I'm thinking. I was thinking about this song that no one ever plays because it was like I think it's at the end of the album. I can't even remember the name of it right now. Where's it? What are the titles? Oh, track listing. Here we go. Okay. Well, we do have a video for Coming Around, actually. But
oh yeah,
we have a video for that. But which is really cool. But the one I was thinking about was Another Kind of Diva.
Let's jump into Another Kind of Diva.
Another Kind of Diva, Success Hooker.
Another Kind of Diva, Success Hooker. Yeah. Let's jump into a bit of this one.
Okay.
Oh, that's right.
Love don't show when it's easy. It shows when it's hard. Love don't show when it's easy. It shows when it's hard. Two mothers died of their broken hearts, as many mothers do. Both mothers mine, a right peculiar start. Talk about your blues. I know you seen the type at the record store, flipping through those rows. Bows her head in prayerful jam, humming Dorothy Moore, asking loud if they've got more. She's a wreck, she's a true believer, another kind of diva, Mac Diva. Blow you like a pro do, prove to you she know you. You need her. Icicle in the rising, nobody's fool. She's alive, but you'll never need her. Love don't show it easy. You get it when you need it. When it's hard, bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Love don't show when it's easy. It shows when it's hard. Two brothers tried to crack the mother pearl, to find the secrets out. Wine and dine, mood and shine, kissing life's sweetest. Found themselves confused, yeah. Hooking for successes, chasing for the next step. She's a max, begging in the feasting, never hitting and feasting on her back. Ride the rolling thunder, cheap as silk up under. Full of the bed, that's what's out of that. A poison play, rinse, repeat, another day. I'll make you silver, bless your
Yeah. Man, you just kill all this shit. Like it's so refreshing, actually, which is kind of ironic to say for me about a record that we done a few years back. But it's so refreshing to revisit it and chat with you about it. I was just thinking that, not to what's the word? Not to kind of restricts you to the to specific people who you've had, creative interactions with. So not to do that, but I feel like when I hear what you do, I mean, you're you, but I feel like in that Eunice, there's, that all those great people, all the Royers and Shaka and Prince and Curtis Mayfield, and I feel like there's some of their DNA is in your creative artistry. That's fair to say, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think we're all an amalgamation of what we've dug and grew up on and nourished ourselves on. And I proudly and humbly, accept all of those things are in me. And I feel like what I learned in high school, I went to high school for performing arts in Dallas Arts Magnet, right? So Roy Hargrove and
Badu and that,
and, all the folks went to school. But one thing that my teacher said to me then that stuck with me, and that was she was talking about jazz at the time, and he said, how you really find out who you are. He said you say literally everything you do. If it's walking, singing, wherever it is, you imitate.
Yeah.
And then you walk.
100%.
You imitate what you see is walking. Okay, now I know how to walk. Now how does Sandra walk?
Exactly.
So all of those footsteps that were made before me made me put me in the shoes that I'm in. I feel good about that because I think, fortunately, I was very open-minded, as clearly you were, and we got things from so many different realms of musicality to give us the palette of life. So I'm proud of that.
100%.
Yeah,
no, I love that, and you're you're legit part of a lineage which is so rich and just so vibrant. So I really appreciate having that we met each other, we've been able to create together, and find something special in that.
Yeah, we connect on a real level.
I feel like just reflecting on what you were just saying too, that for me I find that the space where I find my own creative personality or voice or identity is, like, speaking of that kind of thing of copying and assimilating, like when I, for example, when I would try, say, make an Afrobeat track or a soul track or a Dillerish track or whatever it might be, that the way it's different from that thing that I'm aspiring to, that space in between me and the thing, that's where my own voice is, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's been that's been a very cool idea to live into,
Right.
Like yeah, so I might be trying to make, I might be thinking I'm trying to make a P-Funk Parliament joint, but there could be a point of frustration for some people where it's like, but it doesn't sound like Parliament. Well, it's not supposed to sound like Parliament. It's like...
And I'll tell you another thing, another conversation I had with Prince, and he was talking about, giving the audience what they want, right? And so, because his first album, which I actually really, really love, and that was For You, right? There was one with Soft and Wet on it, and another little instrumental joint. The guitar. Anyway, it's a beautiful album, beautiful. So in the South, Soft and Wet was a big hit, but apparently, I didn't know, but apparently in the rest of the country, it wasn't shit. So for him, that album was a flop, and for for the record label, that album was a flop. So when he came back, the next album, his idea was to do something that sounded like everything that was on the radio, right?
Right.
So this motherfucker comes up with, like, of course I can't think of none of the songs right now. Uptown and so What was the other ones that was on that the big hits on that first the second album hit? I'm like, wait, you couldn't call it Prince. I was like, boo. None of that shit sounded like anything on the radio. He said, but that's what he was going for. So that's what he was going for. But it did not come because it was him.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that he was going for a certain thing, he did not feel like he was compromising himself. Well, actually, he did say he was doing it for specifically for that, but it didn't come off like that. It did not. He shone all the way through that. It still sounded uniquely him. So you find yourself in those spaces, like you just said, even if you are trying to find something in a Dilla space, you know what I mean? It's still going to be you unless you have nothing to offer.
Exactly.
Then you will be a carbon copy.
Yeah, and the best you can be is a clone. Like you can't be the original. You can't be Prince, Dilla, whoever, Miles.
Right.
I mean,
Forget
it.
You can't. It's like, why be somebody else? Because everybody else is already taking me. As well be you. So when you're trying to, so if you don't have anything in you to offer, then yeah, it will come off like a carbon copy, and those things are inauthentic, and they tend to not make lasting reputations as artists and producers, right? You can make a hit record with that, but you can't become a thing in and of yourself. But if you as an artist have who you are, know who you are as a writer, producer, singer, and you come from things that all these things in you, and you come through that filter, but you will always shine through.
Totally, 100%.
For real.
Words of wisdom. Beautiful.
Oh man.
I got to thank you for today, Sandra. Thank you for sharing time and talking about the music and the process we've been through.
For sure.
I'm gonna let it roll out with Spinner's remix of Eternal, because that's a beautiful one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really appreciate you taking this time. It's been great to chat, and
it has been. It has been.
I encourage everyone to revisit these projects. Like jump into the albums and let us know your favorite jams, and
For real.
And there'll always be more to come as well. So exactly right.
Yeah.
So right, here's Spinner's remix of Eternal. DJ Spinner, speaking of another great original and super creative DJ producer. DJ Spinner, in fact, you can find him at least once a week, if not more often, on Twitch. He's on there doing pretty dope DJ sets from his home lab. So where are we? Yeah, Eternal, DJ Spinner remix. Sandra, thank you. Appreciate you.
Anytime, baby. Gotta do some more.
Let's chat some more soon.
Okay.
And time toes.